And good morning, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. We are live promoting our schools, securing our future from the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine. Robert Hasey joining us, founding dean, chief academic officer. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Morning, Kevin.
You know, I said this before, you're too young to be a dean.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think I'm the youngest dean of any medical school in the nation.
That's amazing, right here in Meridian, Idaho. You know, we've heard so much about this school. People in the state have been clamoring for medical school to train doctors. Tell us a little bit about the mission here.
That's right. So Idaho currently ranks 49th in terms of physicians per capita. And what we're going to do by training caring and competent physicians, we're not only going to change healthcare for generations to come in Idaho and the region, but we're also providing incredible opportunities for Idahoans.
Indeed, when we take a look at 49, there's no way up, but nowhere to go but up. How does that begin with training doctors right here? How will that make it better, sir?
Right. So by not ever having a medical school here in Idaho, we have this incredible shortage. And with what we've done here at ICOM, creating the medical school of the future, giving opportunities for Idahoans to become physicians, it's going to be incredible. And patients are going to see a difference when their availability to actually see patients, see physicians, as well as to the care that they will receive.
Well, when we take a look at year one here at ICOM, what is that like establishing it? I remember people wondering where they would put this facility, right here in the heart of the Treasure Valley Meridian. Great place, really convenient. But what will be the curriculum? For those of us that, our medical training is going to see our primary care physician.
That's right. So it's been an incredible start to the first year. So the medical students start through a very, very traditional curriculum in some ways, but doing so with state-of-the-art technologies. So everything from their first anatomy courses to a lot of what we call problem-based learning, where they're learning medical education in a group of 8 to 1 with their faculty members, to a lot of hands-on stuff, including with standardized patients, where they've actually had 2 encounters with patient actors to learn how to take a history and physical.
When we take a look at how many students are there, how many students do you have here?
So we have 162 students. 42 of those are from Idaho.
Who has journeyed here the farthest?
We actually have some students from Florida, New York, even Louisiana.
Well, it's good that the Cajuns are here. We appreciate that. What type of faculty do you have here?
So right now we have 41 full-time faculty, and we have another 270 adjuncts and preceptors contribute to the curriculum. We have an incredibly experienced team. Some of those folks are from Idaho. We have some faculty that had returned to Idaho, and we also have some folks, experts from across the country. When
people are driving by and they see this great facility off of 84, what does it contain? For those people that have often wondered, what goes on in here? Right.
So our $34 million facility contains state-of-the-art simulation labs, which actually is the largest simulation lab in the state of Idaho, with multi-million-dollar facilities, to house state-of-the-art mannequins and those type of things. We also have what's called a standardized patient or an OSCE suite, where we actually have actors from the community come into what looks like either a physician's office or an ER to test the students in that way. We have lots of study space. We have 2 large auditoria that are configured in such a way that can be conducive to team-based learning. And we also have 24 small group rooms or study rooms for the students that helps with the curriculum, but also doubles the space in addition to a state-of-the-art medical library.
How do the actors, how does that work as far as medical training?
So with the actors, we bring in folks from the community, and they're an experienced group for the most part. In fact, some of them actually have been actors for other health professional schools in the past. We put them through a training process so they can answer any questions that may come up during the interview and act accordingly. And we actually bring in the students in testing conditions, and it feels just like a real live patient encounter.
Sure. Can I ask you to stand by for a minute? All right. More Robert Hasey coming up next here at the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, your proud home for Fox News on the radio. Joining us live from Chicago, Jeff Monasso. Jeff, good to have you with us, sir.
Hey, thanks, Kevin.
So what's going on here in San Francisco where the school board president has dropped the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, the first order of business for San Francisco's new school board president was to drop the Pledge of Allegiance. His name is Stephen Cook, the new school board president there. He broke protocol Tuesday by deciding to skip the Pledge of Allegiance before a school board meeting, instead reciting a quote from the poet Maya Angelou. Cook telling the San Francisco Chronicle that he skipped the pledge because of his disappointment with the political climate that he blamed on the Trump administration. So as a school board member prior to this, Cook and other school board members, they would stand for the pledge, but they wouldn't recite it. But now that he's the man who's in charge, he is dropping the pledge altogether.
That's interesting when you think about it. San Francisco is a very unique area. Has there been any local reaction to it already, or is it still too soon to tell?
I think it's still too soon to tell. I mean, obviously, people are talking about it across the country. It's gained news and gained attraction in terms of the story. The pledge is required by the state education board, a code for schools, though it's rarely enforced. And Cook says he plans to continue quoting other Americans in place of the pledge, including gay rights activists. So, perhaps it's a political thing. I don't know. But this is it's a story that certainly gained some traction, and it's where Colin Kaepernick or the Colin Kaepernick story post NFL was born, and he says I'm no Colin Kaepernick. I just do what I do, and it's what I believe, and so you said it. San Francisco's a unique place.
It is. Switching gears this weekend, any big games that you're going to be watching?
My Brewers tonight against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been in the playoffs, decades actually. And the Packers on Monday night.
Jeff Manasso, we always appreciate your insight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there we have it. KIDO Talk Radio time, 6:13. When you think of Fox News, remember you're home for Fox News on the radio, KIDO Talk Radio. Robert Hasty with us, founding dean and chief academic officer, Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine. Promote our school, secure our future. Where are we as far as 5-10 years down the road? How will the medical school here impact medical care in the Gem State, sir?
Great. So we'll be graduating our first class here at ICOM in 2022, and they'll enter in residency programs at that time, which range anywhere from 3 to 7 years. And so in 10 years, we expect a lot of these folks to have started practicing here, not only here in the Gem State, but in the entire region. And I think what they're going to see is an improvement in the access. We won't be 49th in terms of physicians per capita much longer, and we're going to make a big difference on that.
What about the working with the hospitals that we have in the area?
Right. So we have currently 35 healthcare systems with affiliations right now. The majority of the hospital systems in the state of Idaho. Of course, we here in the Treasure Valley we have we like to say that we love all the saints, St. Luke's and St. Alphonsus, and right. We're very proud to be affiliated with both of them as well.
Where do you see medicine going? Obviously, the curriculum here, you've stressed technology. More and more technology. Will we have more and more robots doing things? What do you think?
Great question. So the right now, medicine's changed so much more. Even since 18 years ago when I graduated medical school, it's come so far in terms of not only patient delivery but the technology. And one of the things that we teach our medical students, things are going to change dramatically even more in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And that's one thing I can guarantee. And I think that in the end, what's going to happen, that physician-patient relationship is always going to be paramount. But how we do things, how we deliver care on a daily basis to patients is going to change dramatically.
You're from Miami.
Yes, sir.
Why Idaho? We always ask that question. A lot of us, 50% of the population has come from somewhere else. And when you first thought of this opportunity, Idaho, Miami, very, very culturally different.
Right. So my story dates back. I was actually in private practice as a hospitalist in Southwest Florida, and about 14 years ago, I had a calling. You know, some people say that they have a calling to go into certain professions.
A calling or a curse, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I truly woke up one day and had a calling to go into medical education. So I took a $100,000 pay cut. I've been reminded that it's been over $1 million loss since I had that calling. and
well, hold on, nothing really to laugh about, but yeah.
And so I went back to my alma mater and I went into academia, and I've done almost every job that you can imagine in a medical school, starting a lot of residency programs, course director, vice chair of a department, et cetera. And then I got called to start, be part of the founding team for North Carolina's first osteopathic medical school. And
where was that?
Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, which is about 50 miles south of Raleigh. It's a 127-year-old faith-based university that wanted to start North Carolina's first osteopathic medical school to serve rural and underserved populations. And so I was there, and our founder, a guy by the name of Dan Burrell, had this vision to put a medical school here in this region, the true epicenter for great physicians in the United States, to serve the population, to improve health care. And they said that they talked to 6 people, but I guess they wanted somebody with experience of starting a new medical school. They wanted somebody that had experience starting residency programs, which I'd recently won an award for. And I think I was the youngest of the 6 people they talked to. I think they figured the process was going to age me, and I can tell you, Kevin, it has.
Well, Robert, we're glad that you're here, and of course, there's nothing finer than the good Carolina, North Carolina. I lived in Raleigh for many, many years. Finally, we have a question from Terry. What will ICOM do to help keep these doctors here in Idaho? That seems to be a brain drain, one of our biggest challenges.
That's right. So the biggest challenge that we had before ICOM was we didn't have medical school here for folks to go to. It was harder for a kid from Idaho to become a physician than a kid from Harlem, New York City. And of course, having opportunities, we actually guarantee an interview if folks meet our academic criteria for interviews. It doesn't necessarily say we're going to accept them, but we'll interview them. So number one, taking folks from Idaho. We have folks from, everywhere from Blackfoot to Coeur d'Alene and across this great state. And we gave them opportunities, and that's one determinant of having folks stay here in the state. The second determinant is actually have them come to the medical school within the state, which we're doing. And the third determinant is to have them come to a residency program within the state. And so if you can affect 2 or especially 3 of those, it's a home run. And before we came here, Idaho actually ranked 49th in terms of residency positions per capita. And working with great partners throughout the Gem State and the region, we're going to make a big difference with that. And the first being Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center, which actually started their first residency program this summer. And we financially contributed to the seed money for that. They've been a great partner, and they started their first residency program here, and it's going to expand over time.
Well, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And coming up, much more information about this brand new facility and the changes that we'll make here in the state of Idaho. Really want to thank our friends at CapEd Credit Union, our friends Todd Christensen, George, Ray Amaya back at the Broadcast Center, and my on-the-road partner Chandler for making this happen. When we promote our schools, secure our future, we're always looking for schools that we've been to and new schools, so we're very happy to be here. Yesterday was a big day at the White House.
They tried to scare me to not wear this hat. My own friends, but this hat, it gives me power in a way. When I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. It's non-political, no bull. Put the beep on it, however you want to do it. You better play 4D chess with me like it's Minority Report.
I think it's a shame what's happening in Chicago. I'm in Chicago a lot, too. I have nice things in Chicago. You know that, right? And I hate to see what's happening.
So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist.
Have you noticed that the president really can't get a word in edgewise at his own press conference with Kanye West? If you're not familiar with Kanye West, a very famous rapper, he's married to Kim Kardashian. But if you don't know who Kanye West is, you don't know who Kim Kardashian is. Anyway, he has been very controversial in the past. Now he's broken away from the folks with the popular culture, embracing the president. The president was signing a couple of acts concerning music royalties yesterday, Kanye was there, and it's very rare that the president does not get the last word when he's going back and forth. But you'll hear Kanye talk a little bit about this. Now, this was denounced by many people that are critical of the president. We'll take your calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the markets because the president had something to say about the Fed yesterday as well.
You think racism can control me? Oh, that don't stop me. That's an invisible wall.
He can speak for me anytime he wants. He's been a great guy. He's a smart cookie. Smart. He gets it.
I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. If he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president.
And there we have it from Kanye West. Your thoughts, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And, I can't wait to talk to Dave Petzo on Monday. Have we seen the end of the bull market? Have we seen finally a little hiccup? Interest rates are going up, the highest they've been in years. The president talked a little bit about this. If you're looking to refinance, now is the time. Interest rates continue to go up, and that has had an impact on Wall Street. Here's our own Tracy Caruso on KIDO Talk Radio.
We saw another sell-off yesterday on Wall Street, adding to Wednesday's losses. The Dow fell 545 points to post its two-day decline, biggest decline since February. Also down about 1,300 points for the week, down 5.5% for the week as well. The S&P 500 losing 57 points yesterday to post another decline as well. Its six-day losing streak, the NASDAQ down 92 points. Some tech stocks once again hammered. Apple, Alphabet, and Netflix.
There we have it. Even Netflix taking a beating. What do you have to say about it? We'll talk about it next. Traffic and weather together. Our time is 6:25.
I'm Larry Gebert.
And Kevin Miller in the morning here, taking your calls about the issues that matter to you. So we have the market tumbling, Wall Street woes, and the president yesterday going after the Fed, saying, look, the rising interest rates are having an impact on everybody, and he doesn't agree with that. And hosting Kanye West at the White House.
We don't like it even a little bit. But as to whether or not we should stop $110 billion from being spent in this country, knowing they have 4 or 5 alternatives, 2 very good alternatives, that would not be acceptable to me. Okay, but we're looking for the answer.
And there you have the president discussing the issue involving the Saudis and such. Now, going back to this issue involving the markets, think about this. We've had such an incredible run for quite some time, and the market continues to go up. In fact, it's almost like the new norm. I compare it this way. If you're a fan of the Boston Red Sox, and let's say you're like my friend Chandler, who's a very astute yet young man. Now, Chandler's frame of reference maybe goes back 10 years, maybe goes back a little further, but he can't remember a time in his adult life or in his teenage years where the Boston Red Sox were bad. Never mind the 100 years of futility, and the Red Sox is the easiest analogy that I can come up with. You have people that, for the last 2-3 years, maybe 2-3 years, the economy has been on an uptick. In fact, I don't know about you. Do you have a problem? You remember driving down Fairview Avenue when there were not help wanted signs? Remember, those of you that lived in Idaho just a few years ago, you had cul-de-sacs that were empty. Builders who are booming right now, they were going bust just because of the fact that the economy was slowing down and was slowed down. It's good times. Is this the beginning of the bears, as our friend Terry from State College, Pennsylvania, has talked about for quite some time? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And if so, how do you feel about it? And we'll take your calls on that as we move along. We are once again at the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine, promoting our school, securing our future, thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Kevin.
And once again, back with the founding dean, Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Robert Hasty, joining us once again here talking about this incredible facility. Of course, it's impressive from the outside. We're talking about what's inside. Medically, where do you see medicine going in the next 20 years?
Yeah, so right now I think that some of the things that we're seeing is, number one, it's going to be more patient-centered as we approach. There's a lot of discussions about patient-centered medicine, which we've always felt is the way things should be. And of course, it's going to be a lot more technology in the future. Being able to everything from genomics to the technology to help to diagnose and treat patients.
There's a lot of discussion we have on our program about preventative care, nutrition, prehab, if you will. Do you see that in the curriculum?
Absolutely. And, part of being an osteopathic medical school, in addition to, treating diseases, we spend a lot of focus on preventing diseases. And we know in America we've been spending so much time and so much resources on treating the disease after it occurs. But if we can make a difference in preventing some of these things from happening, it's going to make an incredible impact on the patients' lives and also healthcare in general.
And that is such a concern, because you have people that, are worried about affording health care, improving access to medical care, getting doctors trained in Idaho to stay in Idaho. Will that have an impact on health care costs?
Absolutely. So we know that, not having enough physicians drives up healthcare costs pretty significantly. So that's going to make an impact. And we also know by, when you improve the quality of the physicians, and by having, excellent training, that also decreases costs as well.
Well, that is the concern, because you have folks that are living longer. How about treating the, I guess, lack of a better term, the elderly, but you have people in their 70s that live the same type of lifestyle that people did in their 50s years ago. How does treating people that are older, we're living longer, doing surgeries, new parts, that sort of thing?
That's right, and it's a timely question, because right now we're having what's called the silver tsunami, folks that are baby boomers entering into that age range, and it's a large number of folks out there. And one of the things that we know is that as we age, our healthcare gets more complex, and the resources that are required is increasing. And so that's a major challenge with us in the future, to make sure that we're prepared to take care of the silver tsunami, these folks with more and more complex medical problems. It's not unusual to have folks that are in their 80s with 20 different medical problems and previous malignancies, et cetera.
How do you train compassion, the bedside manner?
Well, it starts off with our admissions process. We have something called the mom test. We never accept anybody into medical school that we wouldn't want to take care of our own mom. And that's what the faculty and the staff have been instructed to do, part of the admissions process. Well, it works if you like your mom, but but
who doesn't like their mom,
That's right. But, and I think we've done a great job getting folks that really care, want to be great physicians, and those are our medical students. This generation, while so many folks want to be pejorative of the millennial generation, their desire to serve is off the charts. They're an incredible group, and I think that's one thing that is very refreshing that I think people are going to see with the physicians of the future. The second thing,
you got to find their frequency, though.
That's right.
Yeah, you do have to find their frequency. You're right, but it's that frequency.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And the second thing is when we have them here at the medical school, always focusing on the skills to make them caring physicians. Certainly there's communication skills, there's professionalism skills that all contribute to making a very empathetic and caring physician. A third step is to actually care for the medical students. Focus on medical student wellness. And medical schools can become toxic environments, and we're focused with a positive culture here. If you look at our team, many of our team members, we really, we're empathetic to each other, we're empathetic to the students, and we want to have that approach from the get-go. And I think that if you continue that throughout the training, you do train and produce a more caring and more competent physician.
Let's get back to ICOM here. What are the challenges year one?
You've
been there. This is not your first rodeo.
That's true. Yeah, the complexities of a medical school are pretty significant. And a new medical school is even more complex because everything's new. And the biggest challenge that we're having right now is just, this is the first time we've done everything. And, everything from, sometimes just the simple logistics of the first time we had our white coat ceremony a couple weeks ago. The first time we actually went through computer-based, examinations. Making sure the Wi-Fi is perfect throughout the facility.
Right.
Sometimes it's the simplest things. And, of course, with our faculty, and we're incredibly blessed that we have such an experienced and talented faculty members, but it's going incredibly well. This has been a very smooth launch for a new medical school.
When we take a look at working with the universities, and look, we're the home team for Idaho here, working with Idaho-specific universities that have pre-med programs or want to have pre-med programs and training their students to be able to come here, establishing those relationships. How is that, sir?
So we've been incredibly blessed with the great universities. First of all, I want to say that the quality of the pre-med candidates that we're seeing from them is incredible. Our largest feeder schools include BYU Idaho, Boise State University, Idaho State University, University of Idaho, and we also have a lot of other programs like NNU and College of Idaho. The quality,
I think you've named just about all of them.
That's true. But we have them from all, and we love them all, and they really do an incredible job for our students. And I think that this is kind of a partnership. The better that they can do, training caring folks that want to go into medical school and make sure that they have the excellent groundwork and prerequisites is part of the reason why we're successful the first year.
And for people just tuning in that may have missed you 20 or 30 minutes ago, what would you like to say to them when they travel this, whether they're coming in from Meridian or Napa or Caldwell, and they see this big, brand-new facility, and they go, wow, that's a nice, ornate building. It really doesn't have a lot of impact on my life. What would you say to them, sir?
Well, first of all, this is representative of the whole state. This is their medical school. And yeah, it's great that we have this great building, but more importantly, it represents the future of Idaho, the future of healthcare here. And by having this incredible medical school here in the Treasure Valley, what it's going to do is going to change healthcare for generations to come. And they're going to be proud of their medical school. They're going to be incredibly proud of their medical school. And we're excited to be here.
Anything else you'd like to say? What's the biggest adjustment for you coming from the tropical climates or North Carolina to here, sir? Dry hair, you miss the humidity?
I love Idaho. This is my home. My family loves it here. And I can tell you, something that, I don't know if everybody hears so often. I used to recruit faculty to a medical school in Florida, to a medical school in North Carolina. I can tell you, recruiting faculty and staff here to the Treasure Valley, once folks get here, I think they all fall in love just like we do.
Yeah.
It's an incredible place.
Okay, an inside question that I'll get dinged for later. Nicest people, North Carolina or Idaho?
By sure, Idaho.
It's
Now,
tough, though. Nice people in North Carolina.
The thing about North Carolina, they're extrovertedly nice, right?
Right.
They're like waving to you and stuff like that.
Right.
I think here in Idaho, they're genuinely nice.
Yeah.
And when I was in North Carolina, they would say things like, bless your heart, and I always thought that was like, a nice thing, and I didn't realize that they were kind of like being a little,
Right.
backhanded. So,
Right.
they don't say that here.
No, not even close, though, for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we appreciate you, Dr. Hasty. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
And we look forward to having you back and hear more from folks here. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
The middle of the morning here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We move on, taking your phone calls. By the way, thanks to Ray Amaya, Dave Petzel will be joining us coming up very shortly, and we'll talk to Dave about the markets, and we are interested to do that. Look, when the news happens, we want to get you access to the newsmakers, and we'll hear from Dave not only today, but he'll probably give us a preview of his show, which will be tomorrow from 8 to 10, Money Matters. I believe, and if it isn't, we'll just say that it is, the longest continual running program on KIDO Talk Radio is our friend Dave Petzo. Saturdays, 8 to 10, Dave will talk about the markets. He's going to talk about the Fed raising the rates. What does that mean for your credit cards? What does that mean for your car payments? What does that mean for everything? So Dave will join us. You can catch him and you can call in and talk to him back and forth tomorrow on Saturday. And Monday, we will talk to him as well because, we've had such a great run since the Trump presidency concerning the bull market, the bear market. Now, is that over? And as I've said, are we going to see the bear? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We'll take a look at that. And the president yesterday, if you missed it, went after the Fed and said that the interest rates should not be raised. And if that happens and the Fed continues to raise the rates, obviously that's going to impact new home sales. That's going to impact home prices here in the Treasure Valley, where the housing market, as most of us know, has been on fire. Joining us now from the Petso Center, Petso Financial. He's a master of Twitter. He loves the Facebook. Petso Financial's Dave Petso, host of Money Matters, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
Well, my friend, is it a good morning?
Well, yeah, the market futures are looking very, very sharply higher. So maybe we're going to finally find a little bit of footing here and get this rally going again. There's, in my opinion, no reason that this happened. Interest rates are going to be raised, and I actually think that's the cause of this.
Well, I don't know about that. The president's upset with the Fed. He's saying that the Fed shouldn't be raising the rates. And by the way, thank you for joining us from your secure remote location. I know it's extra early there, so we want to thank you very much for that, sir.
No problem at all. No, I'm just headed down to watch the Bronco game, so that's my pleasure. I've been up anyway. So anyway, I know it's a little bit of a different perspective, but I don't think the market necessarily gets upset for a reason. We forget that the market is a mechanism of machines and computer trading that drives most of the trading. And yes, there are fundamental reasons to buy, like you and I do, and we do in our 401ks, and we buy stocks and we hold them for the long term. And there's investors like Warren Buffett, et cetera. But the daily trading is done mostly by machines. And those algorithms are set, and when they get a little bit of volatility, and we've watched volatility tick up a lot in the past 10 days, and we see that, and it starts bouncing around. They make money going long or short, and the computers are trading like crazy, and that moves markets. And then we stop after these things happen, and we go, okay, what happened and why? I need an explanation. I'm a human being. I want to know why the sky is blue. And we look around, we go, interest rates, that's it. It's because interest rates are going up really fast. And they're not going up fast. They've been going up for over 2 years, and the market has gone up a lot. I just don't think we suddenly wake up one day and we're the first, this is a new discovery after, 10 interest rate hikes, that the 10th one was like, that's it. Did you realize interest rates are going higher? Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Let's tank the market. It doesn't make sense. We've got real problems out there in Europe with Italy and what's going on there. I think all of these kind of things are problems, but the bottom line is the economy is really rock solid. And interest rates are going to keep going higher, and they should go higher so they're more normalized. Do we have to have rates at a real high level because inflation is rising? Not yet, but it'll be nice if we don't let inflation get out of control as well.
Dave Petso joining us, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Let's get you some headlines. I know you like it when we have you react to the headlines. Are you ready?
Got it. I'm ready.
From CNBC, stocks could fall 40 to 50% to reach fair value. That is from Morgan Street Capital. Dave Petso, your thoughts?
Well, the famous Morgan Street Capital. Sorry, I haven't heard of them, but everybody's entitled to an opinion. That's nonsense. Stocks are not expensive at all. The growth rate right now is phenomenal. We're in a near, zero inflation environment. Interest rates are still low. Yes, they've ticked higher, but they're still very, very low by historic standards. And this is the thing that I think I continue to come back to the fundamentals, because it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day things and the noise, if you will. And when you sit there and you say something like, okay, let's talk about profits. Profits are at record levels, and we're about to start announcing next week the quarterly numbers again, and they're going to be record numbers again. They just simply are going to be. So, but thus far, not including the next quarter, we're at record profit levels. Best corporate balance sheets ever, highest dividend flows, which means the returns to the shareholders. Yeah, it's not hard to figure out why stocks would be at record levels. And the idea that they're 50% overvalued is compared to what? We're going to put money somewhere. And the reality is when we compare it to, I don't know what they're trying to compare it to, but I would compare it to cash alternatives, to bond alternatives. And to say that stocks are overvalued when they're at record profit levels and looking to get higher profit levels, I think it's crazy.
Dave Petzo joining us, talk a little bit about the market. So you believe the bull will rebound and we're not seeing the bear?
I don't think we're seeing the bear. I think we're seeing corrections. And that's hard. It's hard for me, too. It's hard for all of us. Humans want explanations. I want to know why the market goes down 2 or 5%. It's a normal correction, and I can't explain it any other way except to say sometimes these things happen. In fact, they sometimes happen a couple times a year. That's expected. But we always need some kind of explanation, and I think that's really what this is looking for, is a normal correction. I'm not sure exactly what triggered it, but we get them, and then we go looking for an explanation. Must be interest rates. And it just seems to me that we're acting as if something that we've known for a long time, that rates are rising, is not something to get excited about any more than Y2K. As we get closer to Y2K, it's something we knew about for years. To be all hyped up and excited about it was foolish. It's something we know. It's a known entity. It's going to continue happening. And, of course, it makes bond prices go down, and it makes bonds at some point to be invested in a little more attractive down the road. But today, am I going to swap the growth that's going on in this economy, the growth that the corporations are having, for a fixed bond of, 3%? Not a chance. And I don't think investors are either.
Final question for Dave Petzo. We can't wait to speak with you coming up on Monday and Money Matters and everything else, my friend. This is from Ray Amaya. Is the stock market crash the Libs' October surprise?
Oh, I don't think so. But what a great surprise that would be, especially as proud as Trump is of the market, and he should be. I just wish he would be more proud only of the economy, which we can control, right? Not control, but is rightfully up because of great policies. But a market that has mechanisms that can temporarily get out of control is not a great measure. But it is over time, and certainly, what is the market up 40% since Trump was elected? That's phenomenal and a great record. But the day-to-day volatility of the market is nothing more than news about the Kardashians and things like that. It's not real economic news.
Well, he's right on it, whether it's the markets or the Kardashians. Our friend Dave Petzo on the road. We appreciate you joining us so early, sir.
Hey, Kevin, my pleasure always. And hopefully the market will hang in there today and quiet the nerves of everyone. It's so far we're off to a good start in pre-trading. So,
well, Dave, we appreciate you. Safe travels and enjoy the game, sir.
Thank you. We'll do it. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Coming up next, we'll hear from Hank and R&R. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.